Would you yourself define evidence-based practice?
I believe evidence-based practice is a combination of using the most valuable research that you can find on a specific topic while also taking in your own experience, what's worked for you, as well as what's important to the patient and what's really going to work for them specifically.
And in your own practice right now, currently, how do you utilize evidence-based practice?
I try to utilize it as much as I can especially in instances where I'm dealing with something that I haven't really dealt with before, so I'm not sure how to go about it because I want to be able to treat everybody as good as I possibly can, like give them the best possible treatment. So mostly in instances where I'm haven't dealt with it as much before as a young athletic trainer.
Okay. So in your past experiences, education-wise, currently and then previously, do you feel like you're pretty prepared to practice evidence-based practice?
Yeah, I would say it was really harped on during my undergrad at Mankato, so we were exposed to it, and then even more in grad school here at NDSU. It's basically the focus, and I think it's the focus everywhere in the athletic training field today.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Um, so exactly how much experience have you actually had using evidence-based practice? Do you kind of go over articles in class and then take that what you learned from the classroom and then actually apply it, or you just kind of separate the two?
yeah, I definitely apply everything that we use in class. Like for example, I'm currently using meniscal clinical prediction rules. And it's worked for me, and it's stuff that I've already been using, so it kind of goes hand in hand with that using research and what's worked for you. So that being an example of something that we talked about in class, and then I'm applying.
Mhm. Okay. So you mentioned three components of evidence-based practice being the current evidence, clinical experience, and then patient morals or values. Do you find yourself using one component over the other, or do you kind of use them all evenly or the same?
Um, well, I think it's very important to realize that every patient is going to be different and unique, and like a knee is not a knee is not a knee,
Mhm.
is what we were kind of told during our undergrad,
Right.
and I feel like that's held true during my experiences, and also I, since I'm so young, I don't have that much experience, but what's worked for me, I do use. But like in those certain cases where I haven't dealt with something like that before, that's when I'll really kind of dive into the research more.
Okay. So as far as the profession as a whole, do you feel like the profession of athletic training does a good job of incorporating all three components, or do you feel like they lack in some different areas from just your experiences that you've seen with your colleagues?
Um, I feel like it really differs between certain people. Like certain people I know are kind of against it, and they're like, I don't have time to like do all this research and all this. And then some people really understand the importance of it and just being able to provide the best care possible. So I think it really varies between person.
Okay. So do you feel like you sometimes don't use evidence-based practice, and how do you justify that? I know for me, an example would be I like to use myofascial decompression. That's something that we learned here at Indiana State. The evidence behind it doesn't really support it because there really isn't evidence behind it, but just clinical expertise and patient values, I've seen that kind of outweighs the clinical expertise. Do you find yourself in the same situation, or?
Actually, we had a kinesiotape class this past semester, and before the class, I didn't believe in it at all. Like, there's not a lot of evidence on it, on the effects of it, not a lot of research. But anecdotally, like what I've heard from my peers, and also even putting it on each other in class, like I could really feel like a difference with a lot of stuff. And so I used it a lot during spring football, and some guys like weren't comfortable like going without it after a period of time,
Yeah.
like um, until they felt like full strength.
Yeah.
So I really kind of believe it works now.
Okay.
So that's even without some research. So kind of how you said about that, there's not a lot of research with decompression.
All right.